Hey fam, come on in, come on in, come on in. Make yourself at home. Welcome to, you know what time it is, the ADOS Report every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern. We get on here and we give you the real deal. We don't cut cut any corners. We give you the real deal of what's going on in the ADOS community. So let me give you a little rundown of how it's gonna go. Before I do that, I would be remiss if I didn't say, you know what to do. Make sure you share the show, because we want to get this information out to as many people as possible. Also, those hearts, those thumbs ups, those likes, give us that energy. Get down in those comments, say hello in the comments, because all that energy, all that engagement, Facebook loves it and it pumps it out to even more people. If you're watching this on YouTube, you know what to do as well. Make sure you get that thumbs up, hit that thumbs up, and hit subscribe, and then bing, hit that bell. We got a loaded report for you tonight. We even got a guest tonight. We just doing the thing. But anyway, so here's the kind of the rundown how we're gonna do this. First, we're gonna talk about the report card, which we do every week. Then we're gonna talk about some bills. We got some a different little piece that when you dig deeper, it just gets worse for these people. So we got some bills. We got a summary that we're going to summarize this all up. We got our news of the week, our news article of the week that we talk about. And then, of course, my favorite part, so you got to stay around to the end, is the Sambo of the week. I mean, we got an award winner today. So we're just going to jump right into this and get started. The report card, here's how we do this with our ADOS report card. What we do, we look at the CBC members as of right now who have not signed on and co-sponsored HR 40, the study for reparations, because we know how much these people love black people, what we call the sorry seven. And so obviously if they have not had time to sign on HR 40, they must be doing some other things for black people that's just taking up all their time. And so we really go on their Twitter timeline to really break down and see, what are you working on? What are you talking about? And of course, an ADOS tweet. Well, what is an ADOS tweet? An ADOS tweet is something that has to do with reparations, ending mass incarceration, or closing the racial wealth gap. So we're looking for that type of feedback, that hard work from our guys. And we're going to roll through here. The first person up is Emmanuel Cleaver. He's out of Missouri, and he's had 20 tweets, and zero were ADOS tweets, ADOS priorities. 0 of those. Mr. Mark Vesey, been there since 2013, out of Texas, 18 tweets, 0 ADOS tweets, Mr. Vesey. Oh, I'm sorry, I apologize, I forgot to bring my co-host on, Miss Tamara. Come on in. I apologize. Say hello to the people because they don't think I'm just here by myself. Come on in, my friend.
Good evening. I'm here with you.
Good. Did you have Mr. I think you had Mr. Hartford, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. Mr. Hartford, yes. Stephen Hartford, yes. 0 out of 49.
And he wins the award for the most tweets. And out of 49 tweets, so he was real busy, 0 ADOS related tweets. Mr. Colin Allred, 14 tweets, 0 for him. Mr. Antonio Delgado, 34 tweets, 0 ADOS tweets. I tell you, these scores, you know what tomorrow, the sad part about it is we couldn't even score them on a curve today. When I looked at mine, I couldn't even give them any credit. It's just amazing.
It's sad.
Couldn't even give them any special credit, couldn't give them a little asterisk. Nothing. So Antonio 34 0. You had Miss Lauren. I'm gonna go ahead and let you wrap it up with these last two. Miss Lauren Underwood.
0 out of 22 for Miss Lauren Underwood. Representative Lucy McBath, 0 out of 10. And I'm actually having a conversation right now on social media with the DeKalb Democrats who are saying that Lucy signed a bill for black men, and there was some bill she did sign on, but she has not signed on to HR 40. So we're not happy with her with not signing on to HR 40.
Not at all. And please, when you find out about the details of that, please let us know, because that just sounds so foreign from what I've been hearing about her. In fact, I know that you're in Georgia, and to give us a deeper perspective on Lucy, I have a good friend of a friend of the show, a good friend of ours, Miss Trish Walker. Miss Walker, can you tell us, Trish, can you tell us a little bit about your relationship with Lucy and what your impression of her is?
Hey everybody. So my relationship is I'm in her district, and I actually have a friend who knows her because he's in the same group that she's in, Moms Against Guns or something like that. It's a gun rights, not gun rights. Her son was murdered by a race soldier, and my friend's son was also murdered by someone close to him. So they're in the same group together, and he helped to get her elected, and he's the one that told me about her. And at the time of the election, I was in Illinois, so I actually drove from Illinois back to Atlanta to vote in November. It was a hard drive, but I did it. And so come to find out, like in March, that she wasn't keen on HR 40, and so I wanted to have a sit-down talk with her. So I literally moved back from Illinois to Atlanta, and because of the ADOS thing, because I was like, ooh, I found my tribe. So I was literally planning on leaving the country altogether. But when this started, I can't leave my people. So I came back, and was it after Juneteenth? I went and I talked to her district, whatever he is. I call him her assistant, but they call him a district something. I don't know. And because she's in DC. So I went and talked to him and asked, why she hasn't signed on to HR 40, why she didn't co-sponsor it. And he was kind of like hemming and hawing. Like initially he was acting like he didn't know what I was talking about. And then anytime he gave me an objection, I had 5 different things that I had printed out to give him, Andy Darity and Tone Talks, not survey, what was it? Their research. Mm-hmm. I printed that out. I gave it to him. I gave him the numbers. I gave him the data. I gave him a 3-page list of everybody else in the world who's gotten reparations from America and other places. And I just had all the data. And so eventually he stopped with the, I don't know what's going on. And he was real with me. And so basically she's scared. She's scared. And I get it. But I told him, I don't care. Don't care. This is for our people, and we don't have time for quote unquote leaders who represent us who are scared. I don't. It just makes me angry, every day. And people are like, oh, you shouldn't be angry. You don't understand. I love this anger because it fuels my life. It's my lifeblood. It's 400 years of oppression in my DNA, and now I get to release it. So it's beautiful.
You sound like a warrior. I love it.
I'm going to jump in if you don't mind.
Come on in, Tamara.
As a candidate that ran for office in Lucy's district, I can just tell you that her fear is real. I know that, her white constituents have a strong hold on her. And I know that when I ran, I was an example of probably what not to do. And speaking to your blackness, or speaking to, representing all people in the district, when the white constituency has that kind of stronghold, it is a challenge, and she is afraid. But we won't let her stand in her fear. She must represent all of her constituents. You don't get to pick and choose which constituent you will represent. She is to represent all of her constituents. So we're not going to let this go away. And ADOS, we're coming for her. And if she doesn't, we're pushing to withhold the vote against Lucy. She's just not going to have that option to not represent all of her constituents.
Not at all. And go ahead. No, go ahead, Trish.
Go ahead. That's the thing, is you don't have to run on a Black platform. You run for whoever the majority is, and then you just include what all of your constituents need. It is so simple, and I told them that. Like, she doesn't have to hang her hat on this at all. It's that simple. But okay, go ahead.
No, because what we do, Tamara and I, what we do on this show, we bring the receipts. So you see the work that we put in. You see it's not just Lucy McBath, but it is Lucy McBath. You see the work that these cowards are putting in, not for our community, but for other communities. And so we're going to go into the bills. Wait a minute, bills? What do you mean bills? Well, let's look at some of the things that they have. That's why when people tell me, oh, she's afraid, oh, she wouldn't be able to do that, oh, that's a Republican district, or oh, Lord, I don't think we can do that. That's where it falls down. Because guess what? Lucy and all these other cowards, except for Lauren Underwood, Lucy got on HR 1040. Well, now what's HR 1040? Well, HR 1044, that's Fairness for High-Skilled Immigrant Acts of 2019. Well, what do you mean? This bill, and you can go and Google this, it's right there on the site, that bill increases the per-country cap of family-based immigrant visas from 7% of the total number of such visas available that year to 15%, and eliminates the 7% cap for employment-based immigrant visas. It also removes the offset, reduce the number of visas for individuals from China. So I know you're like, okay, it was immigrants, HB, what does that matter to ADOS? Understand this is competition. Understand you're competing with the best of the best from other countries, and it's easier for a lot of companies. All we have to do is look at the top of Google. All we have to look at the top of Apple. A lot of these Fortune 10 companies, it's more efficient and easier for them to get people from outside the country, and so they want to increase that. That's going to impact ADOS. HR 6 didn't have any problem signing on for that. None. In fact, all these cowards signed on to HR 6. What's HR 6? This bill cancels and prohibits removal proceedings against certain aliens and provides such aliens with a path toward permanent residence. In other words, these are dreamers. These are dreamers. Didn't have a problem with that. But now, when it comes to HR 40 for Black people, that establishes a study, not reparations. This is not a gift. It's not a check. This is a study to develop proposals. So you could not get more watered down than this. I mean, other than just saying having let's do a vision board for reparations, you could not get more watered down than this. And yet these cowards still found a way to say, well, I'm just a little scared. Trish, since you are our guest, come on in. What do you think about this? I'm bringing the receipts here. What do you think?
It's maddening, especially HR 1044. I don't even say especially. I'll just start with that one. So 1044 allows them to bring in, or these businesses to bring in Indians specifically for high-tech, high-paying PhD jobs. Now, I'm not saying like that may or may not be our competition, but white folks should be mad. They're taking your jobs. Why? What are you doing? Why is this okay? Why is it okay? Why are we sending our kids to school for you to give jobs to somebody who's going to take a lesser pay because they're not really here, but they're here? So they take a lesser pay. they'll treat them any old kind of way, and we just won't stand up for stuff like that. Like when they say that Black people won't take these jobs, it's not that Black people won't take the job. We'll take the job, but then you don't treat us the way we're supposed to be treated, and we quit. So the solution is to treat us the way we're supposed to be treated, like everybody else. You know, we've got workplace rules and ethics and all these laws in place. And if you don't abide by the law, then we quit. So treat us the way we're supposed to be treated, and we'll work. It's not hard. Like we're just coming for America. That's how I feel. Like all this stuff needs to be cleaned up. Again, we got to do the hard work because nobody else is willing to do it.
Tamara, come on in. What are your thoughts about all this support, but we can't find support for Black people?
That's unacceptable.
Mm.
It's just unacceptable. I mean, it's unacceptable. And I think ADOS is right on time. You know, this is our time, and we're going to push a Black agenda, and you're going to represent all of us equally. We want equity. So it's unacceptable. We're done with all the talking and the back and forth. We're going to withhold votes, and we're going to use our political power, and we're not going to just sit back and let this happen anymore. We're done. We're sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Exactly. But we keep going. We keep going. So this is the summary, fam. 0 tweets. See, you don't even need to grade this one, because anytime you divide, you have a 0 in the divisor, it's going to be a 0. So all of these cowards get a grade of F. All of them have signed on for HR, well, except for Lauren Underwood, and I don't know what, maybe she was out of the office, she didn't get the memo. I'm not sure how she missed it, but she was the only one that didn't send on for HR 1044. HR 6, all of the cowards signed on for that. HR 40, we can't. I'm sorry, HR 40, we can't make time for that. We can't make time for that, man. But we're gonna move on. The story of the week that we're talking about is Black home ownership drops to an all-time low. This is why you see we can't play with people. See, this is serious. This is serious. Home ownership will not close the racial wealth gap, but it is a holder of wealth. And as you move and transition from being an apartment to being a homeowner, it makes a difference. It makes a difference in a lot of areas. But now we're at a point where home ownership drops to an all-time low. I'm just going to give you some of the cuts from the article, and then I'm going to let my friends come in and we're going to talk about it. Analysts say Black communities have struggled to recover financially since the housing crisis, which has kept home ownership out of reach. A decades-long legacy of housing segregation has also made many would-be Black buyers wary of returning to markets after losing their home. So they lost it once. Now they're kind of scared to get back in there. And so we can see that discrimination is still here, although it's changed its form, says Michaela Zonta, a senior policy analyst at the Center for American Progress. A study by Ms. Zonta, to be released on Monday, also found that higher income Black owners are more likely to buy homes in heavily minority neighborhoods that have failed to benefit from the rise in home prices since the foreclosure crisis. So this is saying that even when you adjust for income, they're still getting homes in heavily minority areas. So that whole trope about, oh, Black folks don't want to stay around other Black folks. Ooh, they just want to be around the white man. Ooh, look at that. But that's not the case. And we have to start correcting some of this nonsense that they're putting out about our people, because it just doesn't line up with the data, it doesn't line up with the facts. Ms. Zonta said the findings underscore the need to step up enforcement of the Fair Housing Act, which prevents mortgage brokers and realtors from steering clients to predominantly minority areas. So what it's saying to me, and I'll let you ladies jump in, is that even if you have the income, because of the racism, let's just call it for what it is, the racism, they're still steering Blacks, just like redlining, towards more minority areas that don't increase in value. So, Trish, what do you think about that?
I think it's a shame. I think that America has to just, everything always comes down to the same thing. America has to deal with racism and white supremacy. Like, and we're now holding their feet to the fire, and everybody's like running around with a chicken, like a chicken with their head cut off. Like, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna? And blaming us, blaming the victim for all the problems. But it comes down to, we have to deal with it. Like, this is the cancer, and putting Band-Aids on it is not helping. Reparations is the way to go, because that just dismantles everything. That makes you admit it, and then it has to go. And then we won't have to deal with these stupid, they're directing us to low-income areas where the housing prices decrease instead of increase. What's that? It should just be everything across the board is the same. Like, I understand, like, you know, beachfront property, of course, not necessarily, of course, but that's just the way it goes. And I understand, but it shouldn't be like in the middle of the city is $15,000 for a house, and then 2 blocks away it's $100,000 just because there's no Black people in the neighborhood. What the? Don't make no sense.
Absolutely. Well,
Makes none.
I know Tone says we were a contagion to wealth, and I think in many ways we still are. We still are. Tamara, what are your thoughts when you see that housing report? You see those numbers. What are your thoughts?
I'm with Trish. I'm with Trish. I mean, we gotta, you know, really hold, you know, everybody, these white supremacists and just these systems. We gotta fight. We gotta fight. We gotta turn these things. We gotta turn all of this stuff around. And I'm just at a place now where I'm ready to do the work. What do we have to do to turn this around? I'm ready to work.
Hey, well, like that last line.
That's where a lot of
go
us
ahead.
are.
Go ahead.
That's where a lot of us are. It's like we're just, I see the numbers, I've absorbed it, I've been reading, I've watched videos, I've seen documentaries, I've talked to people, I've been to meetings, I want to work.
It's time to work.
It's gonna take years. Put me in, coach, I'm ready. Like,
Yes.
let's go.
Yes.
That's how I feel.
Yes. And you guys are down there in Atlanta, so you guys have a lot of work ahead of you. But you're right. It's boots on the ground. It's time to start doing what we're doing, hold these people accountable, calling their offices every day, showing up at their offices every day if that's what it requires, getting on Twitter and, harassing them all the time until they, one way or the other, let us know. You got just declare it. If you don't want to represent Blacks, which obviously you don't, then just say that. If you're not for reparations, just say that. Just say that, because we want you on record. We don't want this, I'll just keep ignoring them and they'll go away. That's not going to be acceptable, and we're not going to deal with it. I'd much rather you tell me no than disrespect me by ignoring me, and we're not going to have it. I'm not going to say who I was talking to, but I was talking to somebody and they were saying that they're trying to work out something where ADOS sits down with Lucy and kind of explains the situation. I hope they don't. I'm not trying to hear any of your excuses. I'm not trying to hear it. You didn't have to sit down with the Dreamers. You didn't have to sit down with the immigrants. Why you got to sit down with us? Why we got to try to figure out what you need to do? That's on you. Why do we have to convince you? Right, exactly. Exactly. That's insulting to me. That's insulting to me.
Why would we have to convince? Especially if I've already given you the data, assuming you didn't know it, but I gave it to you, so why not just look it over and be like, oh yeah, this makes sense. And did you not see the hearing? Like, even though it was a clusterfuck, excuse my French.
That's all right. That's all right.
It wasn't all bad. Like, they had some stuff in there that you could take away from it. So I don't know. It's just something's wrong. Something's wrong.
So the post that I was talking about just a few minutes ago, it was posted by the DeKalb County Democrat, and it says, "Thank you, Representative Lucy McBath, for working hard for small businesses and GA6 in the 6th Congressional District." So it's an article about an amendment supporting small business investment opportunities that passed the House that was heard. So of course I asked in the post, my response to that was, all members of the Congressional Caucus have co-sponsored H.R. 40, the study of reparations, except you and 6 others. Why haven't you co-sponsored? And someone on behalf of the DeKalb Democratic Party, which I'm going to blast them for this, says that Lucy has signed onto legislation to form a commission to study the social status of Black men and ultimately the Black family unit. Call your representative in support of this bill, trying to divert me more so. And my response back was to the chair of the Democratic Party here in DeKalb County. Her name is Jennifer Young. I said, Jennifer Young, who is this commenting on behalf of the DeKalb County Democrats? And then my question goes on to say, are you saying that she, meaning Lucy, has done enough for her Black constituents? So basically, whoever is posting on behalf of the DeKalb County Democrats, they're saying that she's already done something for y'all. That's how I took it.
That is how you take it.
That she needs to do anything more.
So how do they get to tell us what we need? Like, they got it all backwards. Like, I am so glad that we are on code right now, because
yes.
I'm like, how, you don't get this clear. You don't get to tell us what we need. We will tell you, and even if you come up with something, we'll let you know if it's okay or not. And that's how this works.
And see, and what you see there.
Whoever is,
no, go ahead.
Whoever is responding, whoever is replying, and whoever this person is behind the DeKalb County Democrat, this person is not ADOS, obviously.
No.
And like I said, it's to me, this person is saying that she's done enough for you Black folks already, and I'm just going to assume that this person is probably not even Black. So I'm going to definitely reach out to the chair. Her name's Jennifer Young. I tagged her in this because I want to understand who is this commenting on behalf of the DeKalb Democratic Party when the DeKalb County is, especially the Democrats, it's majority Black, and more so probably ADOS than anything.
So I'm going to throw this out to the listeners. I want you to get down there in the comment. Are you happy with what we've shared about Lucy McBath? Are you? Does this excite you? Does this make it sound like that she's down for us? Just, you can put yes or no. Just get in the comments and tell me yes or no. Do you think that what you've heard from what we've explained is what this representative needs to be doing? Because to me, it's just frankly insulting. It's just really insulting to the Black community. Well, I've said this before. If that's how you want to be, then don't be part of the CBC. And you know, I've had plenty of problems with CBC. That's going to be a whole nother conversation. But don't be part of that. Be part of the immigrants. Be part of the Latin community. Whatever you want to be a part of. But don't be a part of the CBC. With that said, let's move on to the last piece of the show, my favorite part. We're gonna have to come up with some music for this after a while, because I don't know, some Bojangles music, some Sambo music. I don't know. We'll come up with something. So my favorite part of the show is, let me get here, the Sambo of the Week Award. Oh yes, we just don't miss it. The Sambo of the Week Award. So who do we have? We have a lot of contenders, a lot of people we could have picked, but I tell you, this person just took it to another level. They went above and beyond with Sambo butter biscuit activities. So without further ado, Mr. Mark Vesey. You remember Mark? Yeah, one of the Sorry Seven. Yeah, you remember Mark. Well, what did Mark do to win this special honor? Well, let's kind of look at some of the receipts that we brought from Mark. On July 19th, he says, the proposed policy would be nothing less than a betrayal. I love how these people get so emotional and so passionate when they're not talking about Black people. A betrayal of everything our nation is supposed to stand for. Our nation has a proud tradition of resettling refugees, and I urge the president to honor it. And we see the refugees welcome, decriminalize migration, blah, 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 blah. Now, he ain't never got this passionate about Black people. We're going to keep, so that's one thing. Okay. So just to remind you of who Mr. Mark Vesey is, Mark Vesey, in Congress since 2013. HR 44, yes. HR 6, yes. HR 40, no. Just a reminder, just a reminder. But when the president, 45 as I like to call him, because I sure ain't on his side, so 45 as I like to call him, says something about the squad. Oh, here comes Mr. Vesey. All of a sudden, he's found his black voice. He says, as an African-American man, I've been called a number of terrible words throughout my life just because the color of my skin. I know what is racist and what is not. And being told to go back to your own country is up there with being called the N-word. So, Mark, let me get this right. Let me get this right. So, when you caping for other people, you good. But when you are confronted by something like this, all of a sudden you want to put on your black cape. All of a sudden now you're a black man. All of a sudden now you want to play the black card when it suits you. But other than that, you can't find it in your heart to even think about doing something for the black community. Trish, what do you say? Do you think our Sambo of the Week award is well worth it?
You got so many to choose from. I mean, he's just as good as any. No, I can't believe these people like to compare our 400 years of oppression and being stripped of everything, stolen from our homeland, raped, pillaged, sodomized, beaten, killed, maimed, for people who, what? Volunteer to do stuff. I don't understand. I don't. So yeah, he wins. He's good. Good choice.
Yeah, I mean, not now. He could have said as a minority man. Could chose that. Could pick that. He could have said as a person of color, man of color. He could have chose that. You know, that diversity con. He could have chose that wording. No. He want to put on the black card now. Okay. Tamara, what do you think about our Sambo of the Week?
I'm just over all these congressional, what you call them, congressional black?
Congressional black cowards. Congressional black cowards. That's what they are. Cowards. Cowards.
I'm tired of them. Ayanna Presley said it. All these people in blackface. I'm tired of it. It's like either you're gonna be black or you're not. It's no gray. There's no middle ground. Either you're gonna do the right thing or you're not. And I'm cowards. You called them right, Sean.
Well, fam, we're about to wrap this up. Like I said, we're here every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. I want to welcome our guest, Trish, and hope she'll come back on with us, more often because there's a lot of things I want to talk to her. She's been a business owner for a long time, and I want to get her background on that. And so that's a whole different show. I can't wait to dig into that one. But anyway, Trish, what are your final thoughts about anything that we've shared tonight?
I enjoyed this. This was fun. Yes, I'd love to come back. And Lucy can kick rocks. I'm tired of her. I'm in my head thinking of ways to just take her down, make sure that she's a one-term congresswoman. That's all I got to say. Hey,
one and done. You heard her, one and done. Lucy, you better come correct. You better come. You don't want this heat. I'm telling you, it hadn't even really got hot yet. These two ladies, I know Tamara, I know Trish. These two ladies, they can bring the heat. So I can do is just tell you for your own best interest, you need to go on, at least side on HR 40. At least get a little heat off of you for a little while, but you still need to do better. Tamara, what are your final thoughts? And tell the people where they can find you at. You're doing something every Friday. I'm excited about that. Tell the people.
Yeah. So every Friday at 11 a.m. On Facebook and YouTube, we do a broadcast, Tamara for Georgia, where we address all things Georgia politics, and anything that's happening that we need to spread the word about. So that's Fridays at 11. But yeah, and my final word is that Lucy, you're not going to have the option to not support and all your constituents. You just don't have that choice. When you are an elected official, you have to figure out how to serve everybody, and you don't get to choose. You don't get to pick and choose when everybody voted for you. So we're going to make sure that we hold her accountable. And that's what we all need to do, hold our representatives accountable to our needs as communities of people, whoever we are, and they have to work for all of us. So she has to figure that out. And I think as a representative, that's her job, is to figure out how to support all of us and have those hard conversations. She's escaping or running from having a conversation about race, racism, or race relations. And in this season, in this political climate that we're in, not talking is not good. So that's my final note.
All right. And for me, hey, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, www.shawneehill.com. And I can tell you, Lucy, I got my two friends out there. I just don't know what to tell you, my friend. I really don't. I would really just, this is just me talking to you. I'd really get on board with this, because I know these two ladies, they bringing the heat, and it's not going to be nice. You think it's hot in Atlanta? I just came from Atlanta a few weeks ago, and it's hot. Man, that humidity kicked my butt. I was happy to get back to Texas. But I tell you what, these ladies in Atlanta, Trish and Tamara, they're going to bring the heat, sister. So, you know, you do what you do, because we're going to definitely do what we do. And with that being said, fam, I hope to see you next Tuesday as we come back in. And, hey, I hope you have a wonderful evening. Talk to you later, fam. Goodbye.
Bye.